Hey guys, Skittlerampage here. Welcome back to a new video. I do hope you're enjoying your day today. So today we're going to be going over the outlook or future look at what Funko plans to do to get things back on track and make themselves more money, up their stock and all that. The other day they did just have their investors call talking about all of these things and actually summed up pretty much a majority of the big stuff that they were talking about, new products, new ideas, and all that. So if that does interest you and you want to see what Funko's looking like in the next few years, just give me a little bit of time from your day here and we're going to jump into all of it. But really quick, before we get started, I do want to ask you the question of the day for today's video, which is, how are you guys feeling about Funko right now? Have you been collecting more or less? Do you like the direction the company's going in? Do you think they could change some things? Let me know down below in the comments. First things first, the technical stuff. So basically, they still have a bunch of debt. They did make a little bit more money than they were expecting to, which is always great. However, their overall sales were still down compared to last year. Now, if you don't know what I just said, basically, they did a little bit better than expected and it made their stock price rise up a little bit. And all of the future ideas this new CEO does have made the company look a little better. That's basically the best way I can sum that up. However, if you're looking for all the numbers and all that analytical stuff, you can look it up on Funko's site or any news article. Now, on to some of the new stuff and changes they plan to make. So I have a bunch of notes here, so I will look down. That is the reason. So in the past few months, Funko actually signed renewal agreements with big companies that they make a lot of products for, like Warner Bros, for example, as well as Disney, which has Pixar, Marvel, and all them. They also signed with Universal as well as Paramount. So expect a lot of new products in the future from those specific companies, but it's pretty good that they were able to renew agreements. That means those companies still see the potential in Funko, basically. Now, something that the CEO mentioned on this call, and by the way, if you guys want to listen to this 30-minute call of everything they went over, I'm just summarizing it the best I can in this video. You are welcome to just search up Funko Q3 earnings and you'll be able to find the call that way. But something interesting that the CEO mentioned was very few companies can compare to Funko's retail reach in stores like Walmart specifically, meaning that Funko has its products in so many stores compared to some other brands. And there's plenty of other brands that have, their products all over just like Funko. But something else the CEO mentioned was that Funko also sparks a lot of interest from resellers on eBay specifically. So I guess that kind of proves that they're very aware of the resale market over on eBay and all these other marketplaces, and I guess they like that. They're not necessarily encouraging it. They're just saying that their products are popular enough to be constantly resold, which is true. Not as much as they used to, but it's still true. Now, I won't lie, this next section is where Josh kind of lost me a little bit just with some of the ideas here, and we're going to go over it. So they said they still aim to be the definitive brand for transforming pop culture into products. So this spans over multiple different things. They said this includes new footwear. So we're getting Funko shoes or something. Please don't put Funko Pops on shoes. It's just going to look very kiddie. If you do something really neat and unique, or like collab with like Nike or collab with Adidas, all these other big shoe brands, cool. But please do not do it on your own. Collab with someone, it'll be so much better. Oh my gosh, please collab with somebody. Do not make Funko Pop shoes. Oh my gosh. I cannot stress it. Do not make Funko Pop shoes. Some other products, cosmetics. Well, we kind of all know how cosmetics went. I can kind of show you. Now, if you're unaware, we actually had Funko makeup and cosmetics in the past. This is what it looks like. They did some like Disney villains lines here. They also did like Rugrats and stuff. But yeah, they tried that in the past. It failed miserably. Nobody was interested. And as I was talking to my wife, she mentioned strongly, just like I said with the Funko shoes, don't revolve it around pop. Collab with popular brands to make your own line. You can still put the Funko logo on it, but like making everything around like Funko Pop heads and stuff, it's just not going to spark most interest. People come for the figures that shop here already. So if you're trying to get that beauty audience, you're going to have to do a little bit better and use really good ingredients, especially, or the makeup community will tear you apart. Now, something else that they mentioned that was a little concerning is that they want to go into food products. And that scares me because here's another example of a failed product. Funko's here. While it was probably one of their more better ideas, it was pretty unique. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's unique per se. Like, you made Funko cereal and threw little toys in. That's not a new concept, but it caught on more than some of their other ideas for sure. The cereal was not good though. It was really bad for you. So, I mean, there's very few cereals that are good for you, but you know, it's cereal at the end of the day. I think we can all agree on that, good or bad. But they also made like these candy things that the candy just tastes kind of bitter. It really wasn't good either. The whole pop idea. And you can kind of see they continue with the Funko Pop idea and all that because that was successful, but they also don't kind of move on from it. Like the Funko sodas were their own things, which was really nice. And they were basically just like a smaller version of the pop in a completely different design, which was really nice. But it had that pop feel to it. You see what I mean though with like the whole cosmetics and food. It could work maybe if they didn't slap the Funko Pop big bobbleheads looking things on everything, you know? I think that's one of the biggest problems as to why some of these items just don't really sell crazy good. Anyways, moving on to some other products they want to focus on includes more into K-pop. We've gotten a lot of K-pop lines this year, notably to K-pop Demon Hunters, more sports stuff, as well as fashion and music tours. So the fashion, I'm kind of curious to see what they mean by that. Are we going to get more Funko like merchandise specifically? Or are they going to collab with more brands? I think collabs is just where it's at, especially with some of the more popular brands to, you know, grab those audiences too. So hopefully that's kind of the route they go with that. Because like I said, the cosmetics and the food and the Funko shoes, like those could all go really badly depending on how they do it. So hopefully they bring in some really good artists to do all of that. Okay, moving on. They did actually note that they want to do more work with relevant content creators to expand into newer areas of fandom. So basically, they want to work with not necessarily Funko influencers like myself. That sounds so stupid. Content creator, whatever I am. Now, I can only assume specifically what they mean by this is that they're trying to capture other fandoms and audiences by working with different creators in other spaces. They mention Twitch streamers specifically too. Maybe that means like Speed, for example, popular streamer. He'll get a Funko Pop and then he'll promote it to his audience and they'll buy them all up, essentially. So they want to work with more creators. So maybe your favorite creator will get a collab with Funko in the future. And that is supercharging products to market as quick as possible. And most notably, K-pop Demon Hunters. We were not expecting to get those for probably 6 months to a year. And here's Funko with a line super quick. They put these out so fast and they are expected in the next month and a half now. I really think that's key to Funko's growth among fans because too many times has Funko missed out on popular trends or hypes on products and just missed out on those sales. You have companies like U2's that are filling those needs way faster. For example, Chainsaw Man Reze. U2's already has 3 Reze figures planned and Funko has nothing. No announcement, nothing, and that's one of the biggest anime movies of this year. We also haven't seen anything from Infinity Castle. And granted, maybe these are harder licenses to get, like, you know, with the movie license and all that, but if U2's can do it and other companies can do it already, it makes no sense that Funko, being one of the leading pop culture brands out there, turning icons into Funko Pops and your favorite characters into toys and all that, shouldn't have access to this too. So this is a timing thing. Maybe it's someone who's just not paying attention to certain movies or trends correctly, and I'm really hoping they course correct that quick. I think that is one of their biggest issues out there in just missing hype trains. K-pop Demon Hunters was really good. They had a few exceptions in the past too, but there's no reason that we shouldn't have had a teaser or some kind of announcement for Chainsaw Man or Infinity Castle Pops. Like, by the time these get out, it's going to be next to not hyped anymore, and it's just crazy because they would have sold so well. Now, on the topic of animes like Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, and all that, they actually noted, and I want to go into the screenshot here, where anime actually made up for about 30% of their sales in Q3, which is crazy to think about. And you see here that One Piece is in their top 10 properties. I'm not exactly sure what this 5% means. Maybe it means it was one of the best sellers out of here, like the top sellers. But yeah, One Piece was in their top 10. You can see here that it beat out companies like DC, as well as even Star Wars for Q3. Star Wars is not even in there. So that's pretty crazy, actually, that One Piece is beating. I mean, it's not hard to like consider or think about really, but you know, DC's huge. Star Wars is huge. That just means there wasn't a lot of products to put out for this. I mean, let's be frank, DC hasn't really been doing a lot of live action projects, or the ones that are coming aren't here yet, so we don't have merchandise for it. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars is a mess right now. So not a lot going on with those in terms of like toys and Funko adapting stuff from the comics into figures and all that. So One Piece, you see where they've just been pushing it like crazy, and One Piece being one of their top anime sellers makes sense. But for 30% of their sales to be only anime is crazy. That's almost 1/3 of their sales for the entire quarter, which is, it's just insane to think about. And when you really actually think about it, they've been pushing anime so much. I mean, if you look at their recent Black Friday sale, there's been so much anime on sale because of the volume that they've been producing and putting out, which is a good and bad thing. While it has made them a lot of money, they've just been pushing out too much and a lot of random stuff still at the same time. Their LE program has had a lot of anime exclusives in it too. They're venturing into One Piece with that too. So it's really cool to see that anime is kind of on top there and paying the bills, but I just hope they continue to get newer licenses, as they stated in this call. And yeah, so anime on top, I guess. Now, one of the biggest topics in this call was Bitty Pops here. So they're really excited about Bitty Pops. There's a few notes here. Bitty Pops made Walmart's top toy list for 2025 and featured in their catalog, which went out to 40 million homes. So I mean, 40 million people didn't read those ads. Let's be honest there, but you know, a few million people might have seen Funko Bitty products and was like, oh, you know, cool. And maybe they went out and bought some, or, you know, sought it out on Funko's website. And then they also noted that more licenses are coming for Bitty Pops and Bitty vending machines are coming. So you might see those randomly in like, maybe like arcades or something, I don't know, but yeah, Bitty Pop vending machines, look out for those. As well as Walmart displays are coming in about 1,800 Walmart stores. But yeah, like I said, guys, they have really high hopes for Bitty, their Bitty cities, they're very excited for, so yeah, expect a lot more Bitty stuff coming soon. Now, on the topic of mini Funko products, Mystery Minis was also a big like talk here. It says Mystery Minis will expand more into other licenses to grab the blind box crowd. As you guys do know, they've been experimenting more, like those DC mystery boxes at SDCC. They had, or NYCC, and then Huckleberry Hound over at SDCC. So we'll probably get more of those in the future, but they really want to jump hard into the blind boxes given they're so popular with companies like Pop Mart specifically. So we are expected to see a lot more blind boxes. Now, one last big thing that they mentioned on this call was that they actually plan to expand more overseas, specifically in Asia and Latin America. So if you are in those areas, Funko is trying to broaden their presence over there to get more pops in your hands. So I think that's great. I always thought they were kind of mishandling the overseas, Europe, all that, those markets really poorly. I always see people complaining that they can't find stuff over there. There's either too much of something or too little of something. So I'm hoping they're able to find a common balance, and hopefully they can really grow those markets to gain more collectors over there and make overseas collectors more happy. Now, some other things that they mentioned offhand that I kind of remember is that they're trying to do the limited edition drops more and more, as well as make them better and more organized. So I like that. I like that they're kind of acknowledging that it's been a little messy with the rollout, but successful at the same time since everything's been selling out. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do better with these drops, especially at places like GameStop or smaller retailer shops where, you know, they had messy drops like Evend and Chalice. Some of their whatnot drops were pretty messy, to be frank. But yeah, guys, that pretty much gives you an outlook on the expected products and new ideas from Funko in 2026 and possibly even 2027. I think the new CEO has some pretty good ideas here. I don't agree with all of them, like the Funko food stuff and shoes and cosmetics, but we'll see. I'm going to give him some time to work his magic. He's only been there for 60 days, so if his ideas don't work, you know, it is what it is, on to the next CEO. But if they do work, then we're going to have to applaud him, and hopefully he can help kind of fix Funko and help dig themselves out of this financial mess they have found themselves in. Oh, something else they mentioned too that was pretty big was that the price increases were helping offset tariff costs. So yeah, so if we get into another issue like that again, they'll probably raise prices again. So keep that in mind, like every other company out there. But yeah, guys, that's the outlook for Funko. Let me know your thoughts. Those are more of the key parts that I took away from that investor call. And yeah, hopefully this was kind of helpful. Hopefully it maybe restored your faith in Funko, or maybe you're gonna pull back from Funko. Let me know what you guys think about everything we just went over. With that being said though, thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure to hit the like button down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe and click that notification bell if you're new here. I do want to end off the video by saying a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon-only Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure to follow me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.